Today I fucked up by forgetting to remove a stupid sticker in my $1,700 PC build. Build list for anyone interested: G-Skills Trident Z16 GB Crosshair Hero 8 Motherboard GeForce GTX 1070 CPU Ryzen 3900 CPU Cooler Master Rare MA410 MWD_Black SN 751 TB. So I finished the build about a month ago, and since the initial boot my CPU temps have been a little high, as in mid to upper 70 at idle. I'm working on a bachelor in computer science and almost only use it for schoolwork, so it is never really under high load. However, my girlfriend mostly uses it to game, and has been complaining about it shutting down in the middle of her playing. Well, I finally had time today to look into it. I installed some software to monitor the temps better and told her to play so I could see what was going on. I immediately noticed most of the PC is running in the 30s but the CPU temp is in the 80s. When she boots up her game, Star Wars Old Republic, the temps jump to the mid-90s, sometimes getting into the hundreds. This is very clearly a problem. I tell her she needs to go ahead and stop playing while I figure it out. So I do a bunch of research and figure I must have done something wrong in the build, and decide to open it, take out the cooler and reapply the thermal paste and basically see what I see. So I do just that, remove the cooler, and lo and behold, what do I find on the cooler's heatsink? A plastic sticker that says in big red letters, "Warning, remove this label before installing product." I am clearly an idiot and plan on dropping out cause I clearly should not be near computers. TL, Doctor had massive overheating problems because I forgot to take the sticker off my heatsink. Somewhat unrelated, but how is a build with a $1,071,700 an amused face? The GPU isn't the only thing that matters. Hero 8 Mobo is around $500 by itself. Add CPU already at $800. That's only CPU and Mobo. That someone would spend this on a Mobo in this build baffles me, but it's def possible. Don't drop out of your major because of one little screw up. Use it as a learning moment and keep moving forward. Don't worry, if you're actually using your degree, you'll never look inside the box for your job, just for your hobbies. Your boss won't care if you melt down your gaming PC, in fact, that'd give you more time to do work. Yeah, this computer science deals very little with hardware, other than that we all tinker. Dude, I have been upgrading my PC slowly over the last 2 years. This last go around I got a M.2 storage drive and got it installed. Plugged everything in and got no video. I didn't mess with anything but the M.2 slot, so there shouldn't be an issue. I checked my cables, nothing. Pulled each stick of RAM and reseated, nothing. Replaced the GPU, nada. Put original GPU back in, nope. Was starting to give up when I looked up and realized when I plugged in the cables I pulled the HDMI out of my display. My computer got an unnecessary redo. Moral of my long story is no matter how much you know, we can always make boneheaded mistakes and learn from them. Dude, you were able to figure it out. Yep, for the last hour my temps have been around 35 at idle and no higher than 45 under load. Today I fucked up by slicing my clit open while shaving my VAG for the first time since March. There I, 19F, was chilling in the shower after getting in from my shift at work. I had decided that now was the time to finally say goodbye to the bush. I was all primed and ready to go, but I guess I'm a little rusty because I cut myself while shaving from the top. I left it unfinished and figured I would come back to it later. I went to shave the lips. All was going well. Then I felt it. I didn't feel any pain at first, but I saw the blood. Oh boy, did I see the blood. I was dripping violently. I frantically rubbed away at the shaving gel to see what was wrong. Then the pain hit, and it was not pretty. I was so scared. Like, what have I done? What have I freaking done? It was like a never-ending orgasm except 10 times more intense, painful. My blood was splattering the bath. I didn't know what to do, so I screamed. My dad came rushing in to ask what was wrong. I stood there shaking. Blood was everywhere. I think my dad assumed it was just a really bad period. I had to tell him that I cut my clit and that he needed to get me to the hospital ASAP. Long story short, we got to the hospital. They patched me up and sent me on my way. Not gonna lie, This was one of the scariest experiences of my life. I was terrified that my clit was fucked beyond repair. Luckily it wasn't. Too long didn't read. I tried shaving my kitten for the first time in a while. I ended up cutting my clit and making a mess. My dad rushed to ask what was wrong and found me standing in the shower with my half-shaven pussy. There was blood fricking everywhere and the pain was excruciating. Dad thought I was on my period, so I had to explain that I had cut my clit and that he needed to get me to hospital, otherwise I could lose it. I'm out of A&E now and I am glad to report that my clit will live to fight another day. 50 Blades of Grey, a story of a slit clit. I had literal chills while reading this. Your poor dad, probably traumatized. I know. Crying face. I had to get to the hospital somehow though. Although not the same, I had a similar reaction to a time when I was like 5. I had been staying over with my grandparents and I watched my grandpa shave. Thinking it was cool, I went to the bathroom early in the morning and started to pretend to shave my face. I got the razor stuck on the skin right underneath my Adam's apple and, in a panic upon feeling a sudden prick, yank it away from myself. Suddenly my neck started bleeding and I began to scream. I literally thought I had just sliced open my neck and that I was going to bleed to death. Had a band-aid on my Adam's apple for like 2 days and I was fine. My grandpa didn't let it go for quite some time though, haha. Buy yourself a trimmer. Trim everything short and then take out the razor. That way you can see what you're doing. Ouch. When I read she wiped away shaving foam I cringed. Lol, I never use shave foam near the important bits for fear of slipping. Glad you are okay and clit is still attached. Maybe waxing or a depilatory next time, lol. I hope you have a speedy recovery. Poor dad. Poor dad indeed. I probably scarred him for life, lol. Necessary sacrifice for the sake of my clit though, ha ha ha. Today I fucked up by setting a towel on fire. This was back in high school and my mom had a rule that I could have my girlfriend over, but we had to stay outside until she got home from work, less likely to be inappropriate if we're out in public, according to her. We usually walked home from school together and would hang out on the patio until my mom got home. It didn't really bother us too much, because it was usually only an hour or two anyway. Not the worst compromise. It became more of a problem once winter came around. I live in Michigan, so it can get pretty cold come December. One particularly brisk day, we were out on the patio like normal but the wind chill was really killing us. Now I'm enormous, so I'm basically a space heater in the form of a fat guy. But my girlfriend wasn't so lucky, and she got real cold real fast. Now that I'm older, it seems obvious that I could have easily called my mom and asked for special permission considering it was 30 degrees out. Unfortunately, I was not an adult at the time, and it took me about 2 hours to reach that conclusion. Of course mom said yes, and we went inside, but by that time, GF was frozen solid. We laid her down on my bed and I got to work gathering as many blankets as I could to wrap her in a, admittedly impressive, burrito of warmth. I ran out of blankets pretty quickly though, so I thought, if I warm up a towel, I can put it underneath the blankets and they could trap the heat in. Which brings us to the microwave. The first 2 towels went fine. I think they were still a little wet from the morning's shower, and the results were immediately pleasing to the frozen girl in the back. So I went and grabbed a third, dry, towel and set it for 45 seconds, up from the 30 I did for the first 2. It didn't go as well. The towel immediately caught fire, and my knee-jerk reaction was to take the towel outside, throw it into the snow, and stomp on it. This was effective, even if it was less efficient than using the sink right behind me, but crisis averted anyhow. The worst part? At no point did I consider putting the towels in the dryer and warming them in a less incendiary way. Too long didn't read, a comedy of errors resulting in setting a towel on fire unnecessarily. Lol. A frozen brain needed a warm towel. Funny story though. There were so many opportunities for me to make the smart choice, and I just didn't. Lol. Haha, a friend once put a pair of socks in the microwave. They weren't quite dry and she figured that would dry They melted lol. Damn polyester. But they were dry right? Leisure suit. My skin crawls thinking about them. I am reading this after my balcony was set on fire less than an hour ago. Yours was a fun story though. Geez. Everybody good? As I read this story, I grew increasingly nervous that the flaming towel and the cold girlfriend were going to somehow come into contact, and I am relieved this was not the case. Suspense, the drama. Lol, nah. Her involvement at the point in the story was to yell across the house from the safety of her cocoon to find out why I was yelling. Dude, socks and underwear in the microwave rock, or fresh from the dryer.